guys, I just wanted to kind of come on here and talk about some garbage YouTubers that I used to be a really huge fan of. This isn't going to be like a rundown of any of the drama or anything like that. I'm pretty sure you can find plenty of videos on all of these people that I'm about to talk about. It's just I was a viewer of them at one point or another, and so I just kind of wanted to talk about it. So here we go. I was born January 18th, 2002. YouTube was born February 14th, 2005. I feel like nowadays YouTube has become Gen Z's afternoon television. I remember back in the day when the app in comparison to now looked so rudimentary and clunky. When I was about 5 or so, I had seen Clay People for the first time. Clay People was a stop motion animated style show that some guy was having a lot of fun making, from what it seemed. It was back in the days when people made videos to make videos and not for like clout and money and all that. I mean, I shouldn't talk, I'm doing the same shit. I believe his channel was named Knox Corner. I don't know if it still exists or not. Smosh, S3RL, AMVs, and full episodes of anime were all staples of my childhood on the internet. I think it's safe to say that I've been an avid watcher of YouTuber for an extremely long time, and I have been a fan of a lot of different people. And a lot of my favorites have been exposed for all kinds of horrid accusations and whatnot, so I just kind of want to talk about them and how I feel, because I feel like a lot of people on this app have a handful of creators that have fallen from grace. So this will be me picking out the most disappointing downfalls that have impacted me personally as a viewer. Okay, so let's get the pimple out of the way. Onision, Onion Boy. Oh god, there's a lot to say about him. So first of all, like a lot of other alt girls my age, 13 or so at the time, I found Onision through his 10 Things I Hate About Emos videos. And I thought that he was the funniest of all guys. He looked like an anime boy with his hair, and I loved him as parasocially as a young teen could. So I was an active member of the community back when the Billy situation was going down, and I got to see the beginning and end of the Sarah situation in real time. At the time that everything was going down, I was on his side. Granted, I had actively avoided as many what I called hate videos about him, so I only had his word of mouth, and his word of mouth was, she lied, what we did wasn't illegal, she made a choice, and now she's mad and trying to tear me down, along with gross details on his intimate life with them, which I promise I have changed. Grooming wasn't a popular buzzword at the time, at least not to the same extent, and I think when people did explain it, I just didn't see the problem back then. An older man waiting around for a young girl to come of age so he could date her? Well, hell, I'm underage and I'm dating an older man right now and I'm just fine. I mean, I wasn't, and I might make a video about that in the future, but the point is that I wasn't alone in that mindset, and especially with those of us in the community who were fans of Onision. We all either had a poor understanding of what grooming was or just didn't know what it was. So on his forums, a lot of people spoke about how they were wanting to be the next Billy, and we want the throuple so bad. Take me King Onision from my abusive home like all of the others. Which is so scary because a lot of his fan base was made up of girls and the people who had terrible lives and wanted to get away from it. I mean, it seems like, especially since a lot of his videos were directed towards girls with body image issues, eating disorders, mental health problems, like it really did feel like looking back now, it really does feel like he was targeting the people that he could get to. And none of us really understood what was up, despite all of it really happening right in front of our faces in real time. And that's what's so scary about teenagers. Like, I'm 21 now and just realizing how fucking grown I thought it was, and yet I was so dumb. Like, I really thought I couldn't be slapped. When the Sarah situation had started to happen, I started coming out of my, if you don't like who I like, then you're just wrong phase of my life, and I feel like a lot of other people should hurry up and come out of that phase in their life too. I started watching videos by his biggest critics like Jacqueline, Blair, and Repzion, and I started to see from the mouth of somewhat saner people that the man was manipulative and batshit. I'd finally lost every ounce of like, okay, but he's my childhood, which I did have that sentiment. I really didn't want to stop being a fan of him, because then that meant I had to stop watching all of of the videos that like emotional support at the time. And those are toxic thoughts. I had completely lost all of that when he had made his, what was it, like 8 hours worth of videos of him shitting on his exes, blaming the victims and lying like he always did. But this time I saw it for what it was. I'm not like destroying myself over it. This isn't something like I seize over. I never knew the guy personally. My heart does go out to all the victims and all the people that he did hurt. No one deserves that. It really sucks that someone who seemingly made a channel to target people ended up being able to target people. Like, that's just fucking wild. It's scary. Kind of given the recent event, I mean, not so recent, this happened like a month and a half ago, which is like a decade ago in internet years, but this is a good place for our next candidate, Jeffree motherfucking Star. Good God, this man has lore on par with Onision. So I was at first a light fan of his music. I really loved his song In Love with a Killer and Lollipop Luxury back in 2014. I was a huge Creepypasta fan, and so that's where I found his music. A lot of people used these songs in the back of the videos. And by 2019, I had found his makeup channel, and it was the Blue Blood palette that had cemented me as a fan. I wasn't really in the space of commentary channels or even beauty channels for that matter, and so like I didn't watch that kind of stuff, and so I was very unaware of the MySpace drama and everything that had happened before 2019, other than the songs he had made. I was really inspired by the creativity behind all of his palettes and the marketing of all of his launches. As an aspiring business owner and artist, I had a deep respect for it. Then the whole 1940s mustache miser military in Germany representation thing happened, and I kind of lost all respect because that paired with the Shane Dawson and the whole James Charles thing. Then when those happened and other shit surfaced up, yeah, it's just I can't support it now. And now he's back over a fucking mascara mistake, and people are just okay with it. It's not really my business, and people will do what they do. That doesn't mean that I have to like it. And I'm not surprised that he came back. I'm just kind of disappointed. But I still can't believe this dude fucking has yaks in Wyoming, like 2023. You can't make this shit up. Next we have Creepshow Art, the pinup painting stalker. So when I first started watching Creep, probably in like late 2018, I started watching her in like late 2018 maybe. I know that Shannon blew up pretty damn fast, and I was really inspired by her art. I really liked the eyelashes and like the edgy girl scribbles that she would put on them. Like, I know a lot of people made fun of the whole smoking kills, but so do I. But like I kind of fucked with that, I'm not gonna lie. And not gonna lie though, like some of her stories seemed a little too outlandish to me at the time, but they were entertaining. But a lot of her stories are really related to her, really related to, and I kind of felt similar to her. And when the news broke, I hadn't really heard much about it. I think it was the probably Ready to Glare's video that I first heard it. I hadn't really heard much about it. I think Creepshow Art was the only commentary channel I was watching at the time, and I had first heard about it from Ready to Glare, so which I have been a fan of hers ever since. I did hear from Jacqueline's video about it as well, and then the Emily Artful video came, and I don't know if all that it was in the correct order, but probably not. I think Emily's video came first, and honestly it was just such a mess. Y'all already know. This one kind of got to me a lot though. I really related to Shannon and her struggles, and I really enjoyed her art. I'm LGBT and admittedly some other stuff, so I was happy to see a creator who seemed like such a cutthroat advocate, only to be so seriously surprised about the locale situation. Creepshow reminds me of this girl I was friends with in middle school. She and I were friends, or were like best friends. She was like so happy-go-lucky to my face. We were all so on the up and up when we were around, but then I found out that she was ripping pages out of my diary and handing it out to people, and was like making all these rumors and stuff. It's a whole thing. Again, probably something I'll make a video about. I don't know. Shannon is a middle school bully, and I really feel bad for Emily. She really didn't deserve that, and I hope that she can move on and heal. And I hope that Shannon stays off the fucking internet. Okay, so while I was thinking about like Shannon and Jeffree Star, this isn't a. I was also kind of thinking about Blair's videos, and then like Dobby Vanity kind of came to mind, and Jeffree's like involvement and stuff. I know that Blood on the Dance Floor is a YouTube channel in the same vein as like the rest of them. They just make music, but like I really loved Blood on the Dance Floor as a teenager, and it was so edgy, gross, and emo. Nowadays, looking back at those songs and the band fully knowing its audience, yikes, that's kind of fucked up. The allegations were horrific, and watching countless videos on the topic that came out, as well as doing my own research, it's just, none of that was a rumor. There's proof, and there are real victims. I know that there's still a lot of discord in that, and well, not as much as before, but still. Jeffree's back and forth with it just plugged him more into the morally dubious area, which honestly is a really hard thing to do when you're Jeffree Star. This was a short segment, but I felt like I should have like. So this is someone I have like a bit more personal opinions about. I think Leafy is here. Leafy was my introduction to like commentary channels and call out posts. I'm not gonna sit and say he was a pioneer in the realm or anything, but he definitely had a hand in shaping it, even if they did have to shape it better because of him. See, back in the day when Vine was still around, the political discourse was still funny, and the borderline hub stuff was still allowed on YouTube. Everyone had a hankering, an unbridled hunger, begging God himself for a good roast. Oh yes, the roasts. Basically bullying other people packed up within a "it's just a prank bro" equivalent of a deflection. I'm sure when it was just two people giving each other little roast battles, I'm sure it was funny then. What wasn't funny was just bullying random people, and usually people who couldn't defend themselves, and then just trying to pass it off as a harmless roast. And I felt like that's kind of what Leafy did sometimes. In fact, a lot of the time, actually. But at the time, I was an angry, dumb kid, and admittedly, I loved his content. The summer after 8th grade, I was stuck in the house all the time, and I religiously watched all of his videos. This was like back in 2015, 2016, so it was right at the height of his popularity. I remember being on the edge of my damn seat waiting for the Keemstar ramp uploads. I was so into it. It was the first time I was watching internet drama in like real fucking time, and I felt like I was part of like this whole group, like, oh my god. And even though I didn't really care about the situation at all, I still argued with like Keemstar stans just to pass the time. I made a lot of temporary friends during that time. It was upsetting when he left after the iDubbbz thing, but by that time I was already starting to fall out of love for his content. But what was more upsetting was his comeback. Man, I lost a lot of respect for him because he literally didn't grow up. In fact, he reversed his content and went from bullying to just straight up harassment. I don't think banning him was the best idea. I'm hella with Moist critical on that one. However, I do think he should have been stopped somehow. The behavior was just gross with the whole Pokimane thing. I think he may try to come back in another couple of years, but for fuck's sake, dude, take a lesson from other commentary channels and stick to calling out predators and teenagers faking disorders on TikTok. And last, and honestly the reason I wanted to make this video in the first place, Cyrus. This is a fairly recent case at the time of writing this, so I'm going to go a little bit more in detail. I found Cyrus about 2 years ago, I think. At first I thought he was a Leafy comeback under a different name. Both the content and the voices were very similar. He used to do a lot of reactions and commentaries on other people's videos, most of the time just clowning on them, much like Leafy used to do, but soon enough though he started like clowning on popular TV shows from like the early 2000s and late 2010s, like Super Nanny, Wife Swap, and Beyond Scared Straight, Dr. Phil, you name it. It was just meant to be harmless fun, and it gave a bit of 2016 nostalgia. At least for me it did anyway. With that being said, Cyrus has since scrubbed his channel after posting an apology video only really kind of admitting to what he did. So apparently, according to him, he had been messaging fans and leading them on before breaking their hearts and leaving them. A shitty thing to do, yes. A shitty, sure, but not channel ruining as we have seen, so it was a bit confusing to see him scrub his channel afterwards. After all, what adults do with each other is their own business, and if one person is a terrible partner, it doesn't really matter to the rest of the audience, does it? If it's two adults, I mean. But soon came out that it that it in fact wasn't two adults. One of the girls was only 12 when he was messaging her. One of the girls was only 12 when he was messaging her. And I do want to say that all of this is alleged, so please don't take it as an absolute fact. I'm not providing any screenshots or anything. I would look up the situation. A lot of his close friends have made videos on this situation, and so they would have a lot more accurate information than I do. Just from my side of things, what he said in the video was super vague and confusing. The takedown of his channel and basically all of the people that he used to be close to coming forward to give the real side of the story. It really doesn't look good, and we've seen countless of people before him do the exact same thing, and we all know how it ended. So personally, I think it's based. I can't say that I'm surprised, because at this point, if you're surprised a YouTuber got called out for disgusting behavior, either you've been on a very, very sugary side of YouTube, you're just a little naive, or both. Or you're brand new here, in which case, good luck. YouTube used to be a lot better. It absolutely sucks that once again, young fans have been victimized and exploited. I hope Cyrus didn't do it, because that means there's no victims, but only time will tell. And if he did do something that's gross, and I really, really hope that he fucking goes to jail for it. I hope his victims get justice. So that was just a few of the people I used to be a huge fan of that have been revealed to be possibly terrible people. I grew up on the internet, and I've seen the rise and fall of many. The best advice I can give to people who watch online content is to really, really watch yourself. Don't fall victim to parasocial relationships, because you're only really likely to get yourself hurt. I know that it can be really exciting when a YouTuber or celebrity messages you back when you send them a message or comment on your fan art, but people can use these kind of things to get to you. They use your admiration for them to do horrible things. They do not actually care about you. They pretend to, and I'm not saying you can't ever be friends with someone you're a fan of. It's just best to keep the same amount of wary caution when meeting and talking to these people. They can use your admiration for them to do horrible things. They do not actually care about you. They pretend to. I'm not saying that you can't ever be friends with someone you're a fan of. I'm just saying that it's best to keep the same amount of wary caution when meeting and talking to these people that you do with a perfect stranger, because in the end, that is all they still are, a stranger. I'm not really saying anything new. You guys have heard that a million times. I think I'll go ahead and shut up now. What do you guys think of the art in the back of the video? I decided to take all the people I was talking about today and turn them into an amalgamation of a character as a I think it looks absolutely crazy and just like really fucking crazy. Yeah, just really messed up. I had a lot of fun with this. Bye guys. You guys have a good one and stay safe out there.